Okay, so Utkarsh, you may start the session.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hello. May I audible?
Yes, Utkarsh.
Yeah. Good morning, hello, everyone. I am Uttar Kumar Singh from CSC second year. So, all the startup with the startup club by MCKVI is organizing uh, front hack, which is a front end hackathon. So today's topic is about it. Project management workflow. So I would like to call Devupriyo De to continue this session. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, Bhaiya.
Yeah, thank you, Utkarsh, for handing over the virtual screen to me. And now, as we already promised that we will be calling industry experts to guide you throughout this whole hackathon part, and we went to a class also and talked about the front hack. Okay, so here we are with our software engineer from Mindtree, and today he will be telling you about the project management workflow, like when you get a project, when you start a project, how to proceed with the project. Okay, and all these things. So welcome Shornovo sir, and let's give a brief description about him, like his main stack, and he has also hands on cloud computing. He's currently software engineer in Mindtree. Okay, so today he will be telling you all about project management workflow, and I request that, as Anushka already said, that please make this event interactive. Like he's an experienced one, and you want to ask your question. If any question you have in your mind, then you should ask your question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. You can either write your question in your chat box, and we will convey your questions to Shornovo sir. Okay, so Shornovo sir, welcome you, and
Okay,
we
thanks
can start.
Devopriyo for the introduction. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks. So, so let's start with the session. First, I will share my screen and let me know once you can see it. Is my screen visible to you guys?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks. So, yeah, let's start with the today's topic. Today's topic is project management workflow. So, So to begin with project management workflow, let's try to understand what is project and uh, what it is all about, the term project. So project basically, as we all know, we have been doing from our first grades, like from the school, we make a project, like we have some drawings or it's some crafts, whatever it is. It starts with the initial stages with the requirement analysis. Okay, what we need to do, and then we make the project like step by step, and then we make something out of it. While we do a project, we use some tools, we use some materials. So that's what our project works. And to understand the management workflow, see, the management is, see, like when we used to do project in our school, we used to do in our own. Okay, but now when you work in an industry or you work in some school, or in some high school, so you need to understand how the thing works, this project management workflow, and how the software industry actually works on the software project management workflow. So to begin with, let's start with software project management. Software project management, as you, as if you search this term in the web, you will get this type of answer only. It's a proper way of planning and leading software projects. It's a part of project management in which software projects are planned, implemented, monitored, and controlled. Now, this is what the web tells us, but to understand it a deep way, we need to check first what does a what each phase means. Planning. Okay, so in the planning part, if we start with the software, suppose we want to build an application, or we want to build one web application, or a phone application, whatever it is. So it starts with the planning part. Planning is the part where the requirements are first understood. Okay, first first we need to check whether the thing is to be that is to be implemented, it is proper way or not, whether everything is working, will work fine or not. This analysis, this is the planning. So planning is the very important and the building part of the project. If planning is good, then the project, there is 80% chance it will work good if the planning is good. Okay, so this is the main part of any project, planning. Then comes the execution part. Execution part is the part where after the planning, after the requirements are made, then everything are made. For each part we are given a time. So in each time we need to do some work. So this doing some work is the execution. So we need to understand means how the work will happen. So this happening of the work is the execution. Next comes the monitoring phase. Monitoring is nothing after the product is executed, after the thing is built, or the application or the software product is built. Then we need to monitor the product. Okay, first we need to do a testing. Testing is the very important part before it is sent to the client or the customer, because if it is not tested properly, then it will have a bad impression to the client. So testing is very important after execution, which happens in this part, monitoring. Okay, after testing, we need to support the project. Suppose one project is sent to the market. Now we need to support the project. If any issue comes up in the application, or any problem happens in the application, we need to test those things and again reanalyze those things. That is the support part, maintenance part. So that is the monitoring part of the project. Then comes the control part. Control. Now how the issue which came up from the client or the customers, we need to understand those things first, and then we need to see what are the applicable solution to those problems. So that part is the control. So these four, planning, execution, monitoring and control, these four are the main things of any software project management or any project management you say. Okay, next we skip, then we jump to the next part. uh, this is now now to understand software development life cycle, SDLC. So SDLC is nothing but the execution, means how the project executes from initial stage to the last stage. Okay, so those from initial days, from the requirement analysis, then we need to understand how it gets executed, and then after all it's sent to the market. So these whole process, there is a term SDLC, software development life cycle. Now to build any software, if you follow these steps, it will outcome a good result. Okay, so this is how any IT industry or any software industry or any part or any project which is made used to follow, always follow this type of process, software development life cycle. This is, if as said, like if you search in the web, this HDLC will give a this type of answer only. It's the structured process that enables the production of high quality, low cost software in the shortest possible production time. The goal of the SDLC is to produce superior software that meets and exceeds all customer expectations and demands. Now, to analyze what is a customer expectation and demands, this is the what we do in the requirement analysis part. Okay, requirement analysis is nothing but when a project starts. Okay, so at that time, what are the required things that a customer tells us or to the software team to do? That is where the requirement analysis happen, to understand what we need to do, because that is the baseline. Okay, that we need to follow. So after the requirement analysis is done, the customer expectations are sent to the IT organization or the team. Then we need to go to the design part. Okay. Now suppose I want to build an application like some ice cream shop website. Okay, a website which sells ice creams. Okay, simple. Okay, only ice creams. So now I need to design this website. Okay, there will be two parts of the application. Suppose one is the admin part where the ice cream sellers will upload their product, and there will be one user part where the buyers can see those products and buy from them. So this is the part of the design to understand the website how it will function, or any application how it will function. This is the design part. So this is the very important part. After the designs are made, okay, what things needs to be implemented, what things not to be implemented, and what are the things to test after it is done, and what is the main focus should be while designing the application. So this is the main part of the design process. After this is made, then we comes the implementation part. Okay, in the implementation part, now which tech stack we should use. Okay, that we need to take care first. Suppose I want to use C++ or Java or JavaScript, whatever it is. So or it is SQL, no SQL, whatever it is. So at that time, we need to first analyze what tech stack we need to implement this design. Okay, then a group of team is hired where where they're skilled with those tech stack, so that they can start the process of implementation. And after the implementation is made, then comes the testing part. Testing part is nothing but, as I said, like, we need to test the application properly before we send it to the customer or the client. Because if you test the application, if you find any issue, then you can fix it internally and again send it to the customer. But if you send a non-tested application to the customer, and if it has some major issues, then it will have a bad impression on the IT organization. So this is also main or the vital part of the SDLC cycle testing. And then comes the evolution part. Evolution part is nothing. This is the way how, suppose I built one software, and then the client says that no, I want to add some 2 3 features to it, so that uh, whatever the new things came to us, new urgencies came to us, I want to add these 2 3 things. Then we again need to implement those things. Then again we have to go to analysis part, then the design, then the implementation. So this is the whole process how the SDLC works. It's a whole cycle, I mean to say. So this is the cycle we everyone follows when they build a product or a software which is to be sent to the customer or the client. Okay. Any doubts till now? You can ask.
Where in the testing part, okay, so how it's done means I have heard of the term automated testing, and like there are some other type of testing. So can you explain like testing part?
Yes, sure. See, testing, yeah, I will go more in this in the next part, but to answer this, there are three types of testing: alpha testing, beta testing, and the acceptance testing. Alpha, beta, acceptance. So alpha testing is done by the internal team testers who are hired, okay, from the team, IT team only, who are hired, who does the alpha testing. Then comes the beta testing. Beta testing, the product is sent to some friendly customers. Okay, suppose I am some XYZ firm, okay, and I have some ABC clients who I sent the first product to them. Critics, you mean to say, in the cinema world, okay. So they send some feedback, beta testing, okay. If some issue is found, then it is figured out, and then it is made. Then comes the acceptance testing. After the product is launched in the market, The feedback that we get from the customers, the real life customers, those are the acceptance testing. And if the product works fine, then it is okay. Or if some major issues are seen, then the product is rejected. And to come to the part of automation testing, actually there are two type of testing in the software. One is unit testing and one is the automation testing. Automation testing is nothing but, suppose the workflow, suppose suppose you can think of, if I click on the Flipkart button, some icon over there, and after that some screen opens up. So this whole process of hitting the button and opening the screen, this automation happens through some scripted code. Okay, once I run the code, this whole process of automation things will happen. And if any issue is found, suppose one screen is not opening up, so that issue is again found as a bug to the implementation part. Then it is again sent to the implementation team. Okay, who will fix that bug again and again sent for the testing team. So this is how the workflow happens.
Okay.
Okay, any more doubts? Okay, you can go to the next slide then. Okay, so as I said, so there are mainly six phases of SDLC. The requirement analysis, where the requirements are analyzed first. Okay, then the design, then the implementation, then the testing, then uh, the process with which we send to the customers or to the client is called deployment. Deployment is the part where we send to the customers our finished product. Okay, then comes the support or the maintenance part. Maintenance and support is also a major part. It is the last part, but it is the main part of any SDLC lifecycle. Maintenance is the always has the major impact after the product is released. If an application is not properly maintained, then it will have huge problem. Okay, suppose you think of a situation, uh, how a Facebook works. Okay, in the Facebook, after the Facebook was implemented and launched to the market, every day you can see that there is some update in the Facebook, right? And why is the update? The thing is that every day a new issue is found. Suppose some some like button is not working rightly, or some issue on the news feed. So at that time, if they fix one thing, they need to send a new update to each of its customers, means the user who are using the application. So this is the very vital part, maintenance. Okay, then comes, okay, so types of SDLC model. So mainly we have two types of SDLC model, but now they are, suppose 7 to 8 types are there, but mainly two types are followed: waterfall and agile. So waterfall is the very age-old type of SDLC model. It had some issue on that, so for that reason the agile was launched after that. So waterfall, as you can see in the diagram, the workflow is like a waterfall, right? So that's the why the term is waterfall. Okay, the SDLC, whatever I've explained currently, this is actually a waterfall model only. Okay, first, the way it works is that each phase is first finished, then the second stage is started. Okay, first the requirement analysis is finished, then system design happens. So after the requirement analysis is finished fully, then only system design will happen, then implementation, then testing, then deployment and maintenance. So each step always starts after the end of the last step. So this is how a waterfall process works, or the waterfall model works. Okay, so it is same like system design, implementation, whatever I explained, it works in the same way like the waterfall model. Then comes the agile. Okay, the first going to the agile, what are the issues in the waterfall model we used to face, for which the agile was, came up. The issues was that suppose after after it is launched to the market, okay. Now after launching to the market, I see there is some issue with the application. Now whom should I report? Because each step starts after the end of the last step. So already it is deployed. Now it can't go back to the implementation part. So that is the main thing of the waterfall. So the application used to break, and if it breaks, it used to has that issue throughout its life. So that is the main problem. Okay. So that is why this waterfall model was not is not used in nowadays, because for this issue, because once the step is done, then it can't go back to the last step. Okay. So for that reason, agile methodology was uh, found out, and this works fine currently. So agile methodology works in such a way that first the planning part, then design, develop, test, deploy. This is the same as the waterfall, but then comes the review part. Okay. After the review is done by the customer, okay, the client, then if they found any issue in that, then again it is sent for the design, then develop, then test, then deploy, then again review. Now if it works fine, then it is launched to the market. So I hope you understood why this agile is good. So this agile method works in several iteration. Okay, like 3-4 iterations for every week. Okay, suppose for to give an example on this, it will be clear to you guys. So suppose one Facebook added something. Suppose wants to add something. Okay, some feature. Now who are the heads of the Facebook? They first tell the team to first implement the thing. Okay, now the thing is implemented, and to check whether the thing is working fine or not. Then if they find any issue, then they first they will see in the review, okay, that if everything is working fine or not. If something is there, then it is again sent to the implementation team, design, develop, then test and deploy. If an issue is found, then again it is sent to the team. So like it is a cycle, and after it is found okay, then it is launched. So the advantage is that if an issue is found in the initial stage, then it can be fixed and sent. After launching in the market, this can be thing this thing can be checked prior to it. Okay, so this is the advantage of agile model, that if any issue is found, this can be fixed internally before sending it to the market. Okay. This this agile model actually takes time, but it is a very efficient way of building any software. So this is how an agile model works. Okay, but the thing is that suppose I want to build a project which is very which have very less amount of time, suppose 8 months or 1 year. Then if I follow agile model, it will be a not a good thing, because in eight months is agile model is not a good thing. At that time, waterfall model is good. So agile model is good for some long projects. Suppose my project will run for 5 years, then agile model is good. But my project, I have some project which needs to be finished in 8 months or 1 year. So at that time, this model is good. Waterfall. Okay. Any doubts till now? Okay.
No, you can
Went to
continue.
the next slide. Yep. So now we need to understand what is the why this agile was used in IT industry, and how the agile thing works in IT industry, to be precise. So first we need to understand few terms. Okay, proof of concept, POC, what we tell. Proof of concept is the first thing. Suppose I am an XYZ firm, and suppose someone approaches me that I want to build this application for my organization. So you make it. So how I will prove that I am able to make it? That is the proof of concept. That okay, I have a team of these people who can do these things. So I will show you first my proof of concept. Okay, you said this thing. We have this type of things with us. If it is okay with you, and if the client is okay, yeah, the XYZ team can do this thing for me. I will hand over my issue or the analysis to them. Okay, then analyst. Who is the analyst? Business analyst is the first person who interacts with the client from an XYZ form. Okay, suppose to name it some XYZ form and some ABC client. Okay, now XYZ form is a team who do something. Okay, they are a service based, okay, form, and an ABC client wants to business analyst is the one who will do who will interact with the client and will analyze the business needs of the client first. Okay, the business needs are the main thing. That is the analysis, which I said, requirement analysis. That is the major thing. Okay, then is the comes the architect. Okay, architect is the one who will understand the analysis and will do and give some tech stack to implement in the project. Okay, architect is the one who will fix the tech stack that I want to implement this application with Java. Is it okay for the client? If the client says okay, then I can do with this. And these things is fully based on the security. If the client understands that Java is okay for the security of the application, then only the architect will fix this tech stack for the team. Okay. Then after these things are analyzed, the project manager is the one, he will decide the timeline of the project. Okay, manager will understand the business need and they will add some timelines for each release. Now each and every release, suppose if you go in the agile model, the agile model mainly works in several releases. So those iterations which happen in the review part, each iterations after it is done, there is a release part. Release is nothing but, suppose some version is there. Suppose you want to build an application, ABC application. Its first version is 1.0. Okay, so this 1.0 is the version or it is the release. To understand it is the first release, it is given as 1.0. Then they can then sequentially for every release it is 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. So these are the releases which happens in any application. Okay, so this analyst, manager, and architect are the three upper level of the uh, XYZ firm who interacts with the ABC client to understand the requirement and then system designs them. Okay, architect will see which part to be implemented first and which part to be implemented last, and the tech stack. Okay, then comes the software developer. The developer is the one who will develop the application or implement it. Okay, this is the implementation part. So the software developer will implement those things and they will go through the architect's order, like this architect stack to use and these are the process to be followed to implement an application. So I will do with these things. Then comes the testing team. Testing team will now test each and every part of the application which is implemented. Okay, tester will see that if everything works, then it is fine, or if it does not work, he or she will raise a bug with the implementation team. Then they will fix that bug and then again send to them to test. Okay, now to understand this, how what are bugs, what are these things, there is a in the agile methodology So we have a Scrum board. Okay, Scrum board is nothing but a board where the requirement analysis are first kept on the left side, and then which items to work on will be kept in the to-do list. Then after those items are done, then it will be sent to the done list or the finished list. So there are three sections in a Scrum board where the issues are analyzed, then they are when they are ongoing process and after it is done. So there are three parts in a Scrum board. So once a requirement analysis is gave, so we have a story. So each requirement is broken down into stories. Okay. Then each story is assigned to a particular implementation team. So each team will handle one story. Once the story is done, then those story will be tested by the team. And once the testing is done, if any issue is found, then a bug is raised. Okay. So this is the story, the initial requirement which are given by the client. Those requirement analysis are broken down into several stories, and after the implementation of the story, if any issue is found, then it is called bug, which is raised, and it is again fixed. Then again it is sent to the client. Okay, so these stories and bugs are the how this actual analysis is broken down. Then comes the sprint. So in agile methodology, as you can see, there is a cycle, right? So this cycle actually happens. This cycle is called one cycle is called sprint. Okay, so in sprint, so you start 3-4 works. Suppose you are handed 3-4 works in the first week. Okay, and then suppose sprint is suppose it is 15 days sprint. So within 15 days you have to finish these 4 works. Okay, this is the expectation from you. So this once the sprint is done, okay, then those tasks which were assigned to you will be fixed. Okay, these then again the next sprint will start with a new task given to you. Okay, so this sprint actually, after 3-4 sprints, there comes one release of the application. Okay, suppose suppose 3-4 stories are now implemented in 3-4 sprints. Okay, then first release come. First release will be handed to the client. Now client will do these three types of testing: alpha, beta, acceptance. So alpha testing, which is already done by the internal team, those who build the application. So that is where the unit testing or the automation testing is done actually, the alpha testing. Next come the beta testing. Beta testing is actually done by the friendly client. Suppose the ABC client, which I said, has some 3-4 clients with them. Okay, those who are those who are very close to the ABC client. So he will send to those 3-4 clients only, who will check the application whether it's working fine or there not, or any issue is there or not. Then they will send those things to the, or if any issue is found, then the ABC client will send those issues to the XYZ forms, and then they will fix those and then again send to the ABC client. That is beta testing. Now comes the acceptance testing. Now once these things are done, okay, now the application is working fine, we can send it to the market. So once it is launched to the market, there is a support team. Okay, where you can where they checks in the market that if any issue is found by the users who are using the application. Okay, now those issues will be again sent to the XYZ firm that, yeah, see, my group of users found this issue in the application, so you have to fix this now. So again the process of the agile methodology starts. So this is how the cycle works again once the issue is reported. Okay. So these are the terms to understand before going into the agile uh, model, you say. So this is how the process is in the agile methodology. Any doubts till now? moving on to the next slide. So, so now, what are the advantages of an waterfall model, and what are the disadvantages? So, the advantages are uh, that in each step, as I said, so one step completes, then again a next step, next phase starts. So these each stage, each phase happens first. Once it is completed, then only the next phase starts. It's not like it's a cyclic order. Once it is done, then only the next stage is started, and it is suited for smaller projects only, where the where these needs are very less. Okay, it can be done in a small amount of time. So at that time, waterfall model is picked. And what are the problems which faced in the waterfall model? The error can be fixed only during the phase. As I said, once the next phase starts, we can't go back to the previous step. Okay, so that is the major problem with waterfall model. And yeah, it is not okay for the complex project as the requirement changes frequently. Suppose the implementation part is done, okay, in the waterfall model. Now the client says that no, I want to add some three, four features more to it. Now what will happen? Because the implementation part is already done. So this is the issue with the waterfall model. So this was solved by the agile model. Okay, agile model is the advantage, as we all understood now. It always, since it goes in a cycle order, so if any issue is found, it is fixed before launching in the market. So it always sends us a superior quality product. Okay, the customer satisfaction will obviously be good, because there will be all things done, first sending to the client and then again coming back, then again going to the client, then again coming back. So they are already satisfied with their needs, which is fulfilled. So customer satisfaction is high, better control. So once the product is launched, if any issue is found, then it can be sent again to the XYZ team who will work on that, then again send it to the client, ABC client. So this is the main agile model thing, so which you need to understand why it is used in the recent days. And what are the problems? Problem is not a major thing, but it is not good for the small projects, because small projects is very small, timeline is there to finish the project. So small projects should follow the waterfall model only. And it is more problem to measure progress in waterfall model, uh, because in agile model, since it's work in an iterative way, so we can't track the progress of each phases. So if someone wants to track each and everything, they can go for waterfall model. Or if they want to or if they want the end product to be good, they can go with the agile model. Okay, any doubts till now? Okay, going to the next slide. I think yeah, so here we come to the end of our discussion on project management workflow. So thanks everyone for listening, and if you have any doubts, you can go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, the okay.
Yeah, my mic was not working. Yes. So yeah, I had a question. Like, you talked about all those terms. Like, tester, developer, and Scrum board and all. So are there different developers or means different people assigned to a particular job, or like when we talk about full stack developer, they do all the things? Can you please open the slide once more? Like
Yeah, yeah,
there.
sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah, this thing only. Like you talked about architect and developer and like all the things like tester. So are there different developers assigned to jobs, or like full stack developer do all the things?
No, no, no. Every everyone had some each role. Suppose one is hired for some uh, particular stack. Okay, those people will be sent to those stack to work on those things only. Okay, suppose I am hired for the suppose React. Okay, so any project which uses React as a tech stack, I will be sent to those team only. Okay, and suppose some new needs are sent for like some more React people are needed. So at that time, those who know Angular also, they will be skilled with that React internally with some skillful things, some uh, and then they will be again sent to the React team.
All right, all right. So means there are different people for different jobs in IT
Yes,
industry, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes, correct.
And many of our juniors, means the many of our college students had a question like in college level, how should they start with the project? Like when we give them a topic, okay, so what should be their path? What should they follow, like stepwise, to make their project a successful? Okay, so
So is it a software project you mean to say or
yeah, you can take example of like making a website only. Okay, so means
okay?
that also required some particular steps to be followed, right? Okay,
Mhm.
otherwise like it will be a mess. We will create a mess out of nothing. And so what
Yes, yes.
steps should a college student follow to build a successful let's say website?
Okay, okay, yeah, I understood the question. So the process is like as I said in SDLC. First, we need to understand the requirement. Okay, with the requirement analyzed, I will break the requirement into stories, which I will add some date. Okay, suppose if we if I want to uh, do some huge amount of work in only 15 days, then it will be a great mess. Okay, so first we need to understand what I can do in first 5 days. Okay, that is the requirement analysis and understanding. Okay, first we need to do the basic things. Okay, the proof of concept, which is the main thing of first uh, building step of any application. Suppose I want to build a bot. Okay, in my web, first I will create a bot in some other application, a simple bot. Okay, to understand the thing first, then I will add that bot in my application. Okay, first we need to divide the whole thing in a small parts and then work on those things, and then we have to merge those things to build a application. So that is the requirement analysis. Then comes the design part. Okay, design part is the also vital part. Suppose, as I said, if you want to build application, you need to design each part of the application with the needs that you have. Okay, the design part should be very uh, means the main thing, I mean to say that it should be very good, so that when I start to implement the design, I will not have some issue while implementing the design. Okay, so that is the main thing. If I have the good design and everything are in sorted way, then I will have the urge to implement those things very well. Okay, so this implementation part is also the part where the things needs to be implemented very well, so that it has no issue on that. Because if you if you want to implement some you know some Flipkart type of website or any online shopping website, you need to understand, or you need to gather information of how an online selling or online shopping website works. Okay, you need to understand those things first, then you try to implement those things. Okay, because it is not like you can do it in one day or like 1 month. This takes a lot of time. So be a very uh, idea on that, that you have a very good idea that yeah, these things will I will do first, and then these things, this process. That's why the requirement analysis is very important part. You need to first understand which things I can do in this time period. After it is done, then you can say that yeah, I can implement this. Then the implementation will be very good. Okay, so these things we need to take care.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling from my experience. Many a times I right away started coding, and then it was a mess. After 2 to 3
Yes.
days, I was like not getting the things in its way in which I wanted. So yeah, as now this is coming from an experienced person. Okay, so you guys also learn from his experience, I would like to say. And yeah, this was thing, and being very specific to web development, as you are also a web developer in a reputed company. So what suggestions you would like to give like the college student, like is HTML CSS, knowing of HTML, knowledge of HTML CSS and JS is a required one, right? uh, like
Yes.
every company wants their employees to just even have a basic idea of HTML CSS. What are
Yeah.
your views on it?
Yes, I completely agree on that, because HTML, CSS are the basic things which an web application works. Because if you go any framework like some Angular or in library like React, okay, so any type of web web works you want to do, these three things are very important: HTML, CSS, and JS. HTML and CSS are like the that we see in the view, and JS is used to add some work to it. Okay, suppose clicking of a button will open something. These things done by JavaScript. So JavaScript is also very important. So these three things you need to have a basic idea to join any company practice. So these things are just a basic idea, like how the things work, how an HTML code works, how the CSS is added to give some color or some design to the application, and how to make the application interactive. JS is used. Okay, so this interaction with the website, this is also a very important thing. So that's why a small knowledge of JavaScript is required on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right. And coming to the last question from my side is like, what do you think the role of hackathon plays in the whole lifespan of the college life? Like, why the people or the college student should take part in hackathons?
Yeah. Hackathon is really a very good, the process to understand your skills. Suppose you learned some HTML or CSS. Now, how you will understand that what I've learned is good or not, whether it is right or not that I've learned this. So if you participate in those hackathons, you will have a clear idea that okay, I have learned this thing, and this is working fine, and you can see also that how others are working on that. Okay, so these all things will have a major impact on your understanding of any topic. Okay, so these hackathons are very important in the student life. So everyone should at least have some idea on how these hackathons work, and what you can, and it is very you can get very outcomes of it also, more outcomes of it if you participate more in these hackathons. So yeah, hackathons are really important in student life, I would say, for
Uh,
better understanding of any topics.
yes, yes, yes. Like if you learn something, like you need to know, like how to implement those things. Just
Yes.
learning things won't work. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
as Pronovo sir rightly said, you need to test your knowledge and you need to know like where you lack and how much you have gained by learning those things. You need to create projects and like the correct judgment can get from a hackathon by submitting your projects in this hackathons. Okay. So this was from this is all that I had in my mind. So any of you have any questions? If any other have any questions, you may please ask also. And I would also like to remind that I have pasted the link of the feedback form. So please fill the feedback form to get your certificate, and the link will be taking responses for next 10 minutes only. So fill your forms. Okay. Yeah.
And one more thing, to show a demo of Scrum board, I took a
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
screenshot.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, anyone like to see? Is my screen visible?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this is actually how Scrum board works. So this is actually my Scrum board. So suppose this is the issue. This is the requirement analysis part where the things are added. Okay. Suppose it is a bug. Okay. So every bug is assigned some ID. So with that ID, the bug name is written, and then you need to understand those bug and then fix those things. While you try to fix those things, you have to send in this part. Okay, in progress part, and after the in progress part is done, then you send to the done part. Okay, so this is how a Scrum board, and you can see in the sprints. So every sprint, we have a sprint of suppose 7 days. So after each sprint, a new task will be added in the left side, and then we need to start working, and then it goes to the, if it is done, it goes to the right side, the done column. So everyone in our team is assigned some task which they need to finish in each sprint, and after 3 4 sprints are done, we send it to the release, and once it is released, we get some feedback from them if any bug is raised, and then it is taken in the sprint, and the next release it will be delivered. Okay. So
Okay.
this is an
Yeah.
actual Scrum board.
Okay. 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 So we also get a chance to view an actual Scrum board. So yes, thank you so much for making this view available to us. Yeah, any more questions from anyone of you? Okay, so I guess the topic is well understood by the participants, and now they will create nice projects, and yes, they will create nice projects and add them in their resume. Okay, so thank you, Sorno sir, for attending or for giving us your precious time. Yeah, Utkarsh,
Thanks.
hand over to you. I guess Utkarsh is facing some issue. Anushkali?
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yeah, Utkarsh, yes, yes, yes.
Sorry, Via, my mic is not working.
Uh-huh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are officially ending this meeting.
Yeah.
And Anushkali, has the live ended? Okay.